Buenos dias. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing good. Happy 2024. If you're ready to make some money, let's rock and roll, okay? I'm super proud of every single one of you. And I'm making this video very quickly because obviously I'm not here with you. However, we're developing such a good team that there's times in which I don't need to be there and you're able to really do this business on your own. You have Larry there with you today, and he's going to be sitting with you after this quick video. So let's get right into it. Number one, again, Happy New Year. I'm really happy and glad and proud of those of you that basically made, let's call it over $100,000 in your career. You should be proud of yourself. You know who you are, and the bottom line is, you know, the effort that you're putting in. And then coincidentally, you get lucky, huh? So we create our own luck based on the work it is that we put in, the focus, the determination, the tenacity that you put forth every single day. Remember that in this business, commercial real estate, we can give you all the tools you need, we can give you all the answers, give you all the methodology that has proven to work, but it's up to you at the end of the day to pull the trigger, to take the action that it requires for you to become extremely successful. Nobody is going to do it for you. You have to wake up, make this your own business, rise earlier than others, focus on your productivity every single day. I recommend you make your black book very tight in 30-minute increments in terms of productivity, and do your very, very best, because you literally have an endless opportunity in front of you. And if you take advantage of it and you just stay laser focused, don't listen to any of your normal friends and family and people that are living the normal life. If you want to live the normal life, then do as they say. If you want to make millions of dollars and become extremely wealthy, listen to me. Focus on doing what works. Do things that I say that work and implement your own style. Add additional things to it. Add more, levels of productivity, and you're going to see the results speak for themselves. You know, the fact that you're getting up early, focused on productivity, making more calls, sending more letters out there, all that activity leads to coming back to you in terms of what it is that you want for your financial goals and success in the business. So it's not a magic formula, it's pretty simple. The more work you put into the business, the more money you're gonna make and the luckier you're gonna get, period. Moving forward into the quick agenda, I've got 5 points I'm gonna go over. This will be a short one. Number one, I want everybody in the room to go ahead and write down all of your goals. Now, we're a family unit at this point. I think you guys have seen that, not just with speaking, but in action. And with that said, I don't want you to just focus on your financial goals. You know, money is extremely, it's a great thing. It's up there with oxygen. But you have to balance the rest of your life. And the way you do that is to make sure you pay attention to all the areas. How's your health? How's your family situation? You know, how is it that you were able to achieve what it is you had last year or didn't achieve? And what can you do now this year better to make it happen? You have those answers. But what I want you to do is focus on the following categories. I do this every single day. This is something that what I say to you guys is something that I will always make sure to do. There's nothing I ever will say or ask or a Craigslist or a call or a letter that I'm telling you to do that I wouldn't personally do or that I already haven't done. So what I'm telling you is sincere, and it's based on years and years of success. So the categories, and again, you can put however you want in your categories of goals, but you must write them down. And Larry, make sure everybody in this room doesn't leave until at the end of this, all of their goals are written down. They have to be in ink. You know, the more clarity it is that you have, the more results you'll have in your life. It's not just think it. We get busy every single day. There's thousands and thousands of things thrown at us as an addition to what we already have in the day in terms of our intention. So if you have those things written down, it allows you to solidify your goals and dreams and make them a reality that much more. You want to do everything that you can to make sure you're hedging your success into your life the most that you possibly can. So here's the categories. Number 1, health. Number 2, family. Number 3, relationships. Number 4, wealth. And then number 5, in my situation, it has to do with, cash flow and acquiring more assets that will give you that, buying more property, investment property, etc. You also have categories in your list that are, the fun things. I have that as last place, which is toys, boats, cars, all the stuff that you want. This is your life. It's just like your list that you can put to the universe and write down all the things it is that you want, but make sure you have them in order. If you don't have your health, you can't really go out here and kill it, right? Because that's stopping you from being able to be your best. So make sure your health is in order. You guys don't have to have shredded 6-pack abs and, and be, supermodels in the gym and health and fitness. But if you drink more water, if you kind of cut down on the sugar, at least in Monday to Friday and the weekends you have off, your vitality increases. You're giving your own self more life. Your energy increases. And so you'll see a lot more that aligns with the balance of your success based on just doing that and paying attention to your health. That's one area. The next, your family at home. How does your family situation look? Is your wife or husband happy with what it is you're doing? Do they support you? Do they have questions? Are they worried that, our business is commission only? Or did you tell them, hey, listen, I have something under contract or I have things in the pipeline that are going to give me my now money, which is my bread and butter lease money. And then I have big truckloads of money coming when I close a transaction. Make sure you communicate that, because not everybody understands what it is that we do. And that's fine, because we have a business that's extremely unique and that we have unlimited earning potential. That's something you guys should really pay attention to, because you're in a very fortunate situation right now. That, quick example, if you're a physician or you're an attorney or you're a dentist or you're someone that is considered a professional in this world that we live in now, what happens when you want to take a trip for 2 weeks or a month? Can you do that? If you're the only guy, if you're the only doctor, if you're the only dentist, whatever that may be, you can't. So everybody in this room has the fortunate opportunity that you get to leave and do whatever it is you want, when you want, with who you want, based on the business that we're in. If you have a deal pending and you have transactions that are moving forward and you're going to take a trip, as long as that's handled the right way and organized, you get to take your trip. You don't have patients lining up waiting for you and, oh my God, what's going on? How fortunate are you with that? Just think of that. You have in our business the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest opportunity and greatest position that people throughout the world would kill for. And what that is, simply put, is freedom. You have freedom. You're buying yourself freedom in our business by accumulating money and being able to set up your time to allow the terms of your life on your terms, meaning you get to do what it is that you want. So hopefully I'm reaching you in regards to a higher level than just, rah, 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 let's kill it, let's go. I want you to really reflect, and this year, to the core, I want everybody to really tap into their inner greatness and dig deep. In times where you have a challenge or a deal falls apart, dig deep, keep pushing, because as long as you do that, you're guaranteeing yourself success. You can never fail. The only way you can fail is if you give up. So remember that. Push forward, continue to keep pushing. And if there's something that doesn't work out, what is the valuable gem of wisdom that you could learn from that situation? And that empowers you to be sharper on the next deal. So again, you didn't lose from that situation, you gained. But it's how it is that you look at whatever situation you're in and how your mindset is wired that will determine the outcome of your success. You control that. All right, so first thing, write down your written goals. We're gonna reverse engineer them, meaning go ahead and start out financially where you wanna be. If it's, let's call it 300 grand this year or $200,000. $200,000 at the end of the year is 200 grand. Divide that by 12. It's gonna give you what the monthly amount is. Then go ahead and plug that into Monday through Friday. How many hours in the week do you have to work? And how much do you have to make per day? If you break it down to the per day number, You'll be extremely surprised that $1 million in the year of net income in your pocket equates to a little over $2,000 a day from Monday through Friday. That's including weekends off, which is pretty freaking good, right? So reverse engineer your specific financial goals so that to the dollar, you know at the end of the year, if $300,000 is what you want to have in your bank account, you reverse engineer that and know exactly how much that is per month, exactly how much that is per day, and exactly how much effort you have to put in from Monday to Friday, right? Because once you have that formula in place, you're not done. You got to keep digging, meaning, all right, on Monday, I'm going to do my calls for 1 hour. I'm going to send out letters for 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and target all the different areas that I know to target to put my fishing lines out there. The more lines you have out in the water, the more chances you have for opportunity and the more deals that'll come your way while you're working on your active deals. 2 weeks later, you have a letter and someone that calls you, hey, listen, I got your letter and I'm interested in selling my building. What do you think it's worth? Boom. So by doing things that will allow yourself the opportunity for success, setting yourself up for success, will bring you more deals, more income, more everything you want, okay? But you have to continually set up your schedule so that you're always sending out letters, sending out emails, contacting new owners, working on the current deals that you have, turning one deal into 3 deals, etc. All right, so keep your productivity maximized and you're gonna see that those financial goals will become a reality for you. Fine tune the time in the week. If let's say Monday through Friday, in order to hit that financial goal, what that means for you is you got to do at least $2 million deals within 6 months or whatever that may look like for you. Write that down. Write down how many hours a day you have to work and focus and how you're going to organize your day to hit those goals. The formula is right there at your fingertips. You have to write it down, you have to commit, and you have to be laser focused, okay? Next. The new hot areas of development. So I won't bore you with new projects that are coming in and naming all the different projects, but I will slice up our market into segments. So the first area that I've been saying for a while that you need to pay close attention to and start really planting your feet into is Fort Pierce. Target US 1, Orange Avenue, go as far as Indrio Road. And what you want to do is target all those areas. Do driving for dollars, for sale by owner signs, call them to get new deals. For lease by owner signs, call them to get new deals. Send out letters to everybody over there. Owners in that area should know your name to the point that they get so many letters and so much information that they basically, when you call them, they're like, oh yeah, I know it's you. It should literally be just like that. You should be so relevant in that market that the owners know who you are already, okay? So you want to target Fort Pierce, Orange Avenue, Okeechobee Road, US 1, Indrio Road, all those areas. You want to target buildings, obviously, retail plazas, industrial property, and then land. If you can find parcels of land, 5 acres and above, 20 acres and above, that's going to be extremely beneficial because I already have the buyers in those spaces that are ready to deploy capital. We also have buyers that are already contacting me to place their money mid-year for 1031 exchange opportunities. So we have a lot of really good quality buyers this year to place that money into deals. The faster you get new deals in terms of in your plate, and the faster you guys move forward with getting new listings, the better it's going to be for you. When you have an exclusive listing, you know that's more money for you and you're not having to co-broke. And then if you get both sides of it, you make even more money. So that's going to be one area. The other area right now that's on fire, which again, it's not a secret, is going to be Rangeline Road, Becker Road, Port St. Lucie Boulevard, Gatlin, and Tradition. That whole square sector of Port St. Lucie is the hottest and fastest area of growth. Costco distribution's coming in there now. And then remember, we have relationships that other people don't know about. So the owner of the Bass Pro Plaza Home Depot is a good client of mine. He has pads there that we can facilitate developers coming into the market. He lives up in New York. He's got some, good activity there. David and Buster's is coming in, but that's stuff for you that you have in the pocket that other firms don't even know about. And number 2, they don't have the opportunity to even place that in front of their clients, meaning solicit national tenants, see what national tenants really want to be in this market. Once you identify them, then you could work backwards and get the land in front of them to put a deal together there. National tenant deals are extremely profitable. They're also extremely easy once you get in there and you start to learn how the mechanics of them work. The buyers in terms of national tenant deals, triple net investments, are standing in line ready to deploy capital if you just get the deal. So they're easier to sell, harder to find, but again, you're in your backyard, you have access to a lot of off-market deals, more so than other commercial firms. So use that to your advantage. All right, so those are going to be the areas to focus on. Seaway Drive, Fort Pierce, a lot of action up there. US 1, Fort Pierce, where Brightline is most likely going to come in. That's where you're going to want to focus. So go ahead and hit those areas. The other thing is regarding our methodology. So the letters, you guys have listened, and those of you who have listened, you're seeing results. You get callbacks. You have people contacting you. You have people wanting to do business with you. So keeping it simple, those little non-fancy letters. I have a buyer, contact me if you want to sell. You want to get as many of those out as you can. I suggest you schedule at least 2 or 3 times a week of having your marketing time to go ahead and send those out. 2, emails. Get the email contact to the owner that you're looking to target. You can hit them 3 different times, meaning 1, send a letter. 2, send them an email with the same thing. Hey, I have a buyer. I would like to sell your property. Tell me if you're interested in selling. Okay, great. Send them a letter, send them the email, and then follow up with a call. Hey, just wondering if you got my letter. It's not even a call of trying to cold call anybody. You're just trying to see if they received the information. And then just from opening up the call with asking them that question, they're going to say 2 things. 1, yeah, I did actually, and I'm interested. Great. Or they say, oh, I got your letter, but I'm not interested. Okay. Don't let that no just be where it is. That's where you want to actually use your skill set and get in there. Oh, you're not interested now? Is it because you're good, meaning you have this property set up for your family? Or why would that be that you're not ready now? Is there a reason? Let them give you the reason and listen to them. Once you understand the seller's reason, then you can turn that around and turn it into a deal. Why? We develop solutions to problems, and the more solution oriented you are in our business, the more deals you're going to get. You ask the seller, hey, listen, so let's say you're not ready. What's the reason why? Is there a time when you think you would be ready, or is there any reason why you're not wanting to sell? Oh, you know what, it's cash flow property for me and my kids and I'm good. Okay, well listen, if you need help leasing, we also do that. You want to turn every deal into 3 deals when you're dealing with somebody. Always ask the question, hey, would you sell? No? Would you lease? Okay, great. What would you do with the money, Mr. Seller? If we sell this property for you, you're going to 1031 exchange it? Oh, what's that, Alex? And then you explain to them what that benefit is. But you want to understand the seller's real hot button as to why they won't sell, because they will if you understand what that is and you take time. Don't take a no, I'm not interested, and hang up like most agents. You want to be tenacious. Why isn't it, Mr. Seller, that you do not want to sell? Why? Get to the bottom of that why, and then provide that seller with a valid solution, authentic. We're not calling to be pitchy or anything. We're here to do business, and we bring value to the sellers and the buyers that we work with. And if they don't understand that, once you've gone through the process of being articulate in terms of what it is you can and cannot do, leave the door open. Mr. Seller, when you're ready to work with us, this is what our fee is. I'm glad to help you. We have plenty of other clients that we're working with right now. It's extremely busy, but give me a call when you're ready. Boom, you leave the door open, and you'll be extremely surprised that agent that they decided that's a friend, a residential, blah, 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 didn't do the job that they thought, and then they call you and say, hey, listen, I'm ready to do business. So that's a way you can handle that. Now, going further into closing sellers, you want to do 2 things. Actually, one of our agents came up with a cool idea, which was to sell them on packages, meaning you can do 1 level of commission, which is the bottom of the barrel. It's a lower commission amount, but we're not giving you as much exposure. You can do a mid-level. That mid-level basically gives you a little bit higher of a commission, but you're getting more service. And then you have the maximum, I think, platinum level, which is basically we cover everything and it's the highest commission, but you get what you pay for, right? So originally, that used to be a good idea back in the day, until what I discovered is sellers at the end of the day want what they want for them. They really don't care how it's packaged. You got to focus on what the seller wants, meaning the seller wants the most amount of money for their property in the shortest amount of time, and they want to pay the least amount of money. Unfortunately, that's how it is. I know it's ridiculous. but that's typically what's on your average seller's mind. So how do you get over that? Very simple. 2 ways. Number one, Mr. Seller, I know you got my letter. I do represent buyers. And if you're ready to sell and move forward, I can do 2 things. One, my commission is 7%. It gets paid at the time of sale. Once I bring you a buyer, I'm not looking to list it. All I want is a commission agreement, meaning if I bring you a buyer, I get paid for it. Other than that, you're free to sell it now to whoever you want with whoever it is you want. So that's the first thing, is a commission agreement. The second, which is my favorite, is our net fee agreement. Now at that point, you say, Mr. Seller, $2 million seems to be the number that you're looking for on this property. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay. If I bring you the $2 million, am I free to put my fee on top of that? Well, yeah, because the seller only wants their $2 million. And if you've underwritten this property the right way, where let's say it's worth 2.2 and you're going to market it at 2.3 because the buyer's going to come in and negotiate you down typically $100,000, sometimes $200,000 discount right out of the gate, then instead of making 6% commission, which would be $120,000, you make $200,000, which is more. And you've given the seller what they want. You didn't have all the resistance of discount this and discount that, which we do not do. And now you've gotten yourself a net fee agreement signed. Send that to them in an email. You have to get it signed. Send it to them in a DocuSign, and that'll make life easier for you. Because the other thing is, I really like the Rockefeller theory, which is to control listings, but not having the obligation to be stuck babysitting them. Meaning, when you sign an exclusive agreement with a seller, that seller wants to know, hey, what's the status? Where are we at? Blah, blah, blah. Which I understand the concern, but when you have, 20 other deals going on, they're not the only, client for you. And if it's a smaller deal, you want to give everybody the same amount of attention, but sometimes, it's tough to give them an update on activity, and we don't do that. We typically surface once we have something strong to present them with, an LOI or a purchase agreement. So you want to focus on making sure you get fee agreements signed. This year specifically, fee agreements and then getting the owner to give you permission to put signage. Those 2 things are what you really want to focus on. Now, by packaging the net fee or commission agreement with the seller, it gives the seller options, and they're typically not used to somebody that's going to come in and not tie their property up for a year and this automatic renewal this and blah, blah, blah. They can see and understand that it's to their benefit, and they'll make decisions with you, and you'll close more deals because now you're a solution to their problem. Okay, so focus on commission agreements, net fee agreements, and then obviously getting permission to put signage out there on the property. Now, by doing that, now you've controlled the property that you don't have to be babysat by, meaning you get to be free to do all the deals you want. When you have a buyer and when you're ready to transact there, you bring it their way and you've secured yourself, you'll get paid for that deal. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing is that you want to make sure communication on all deals is very tight, okay? Meaning, when you hire an attorney, the attorney is who you must go through legally to discuss any legal business between the plaintiff and between the defendant. Now, why is that? Well, years and years of experience that the attorney has as an expert, and he typically is going to balance the communication between the 2 parties in a fair way, so this way the outcome is the most beneficial that it possibly can be. How does that relate to our commercial real estate? We are the same. We are experts in commercial real estate, meaning a seller and a buyer hire us, just as they would an attorney, to be the liaisons and the intermediary between buyer and seller. Why? Buyer and seller could talk with themselves and put a sign up for sale and see what happens. That would be a cluster of disaster based on them, seller and buyer, not understanding the business, not understanding what would be a fair offer, what would be a fair amount down if owner financing takes place, and all the intricacies that we understand as commercial agents and brokers for years and years and years of being experts in this business. The people hire us, sellers and buyers, to be the experts. So you must be the expert. You have to lead the deal in communication and in flow and in closing. You have to tell a seller why something is good for them. Why take this offer? Why not take this offer? Where we should be on countering. Hey seller, you know what? We should take a step back, fill this thing up with tenants so we can increase the cash flow. And at that point now we can really get you that number you're looking for. You need to direct and give the advice to the seller as the expert you are. We're experts in this business just like a cardiologist would be for heart surgery. You're not gonna go tell that cardiologist, hey doc, I think it's a better idea if you kind of play over here instead of what you're talking about there. Just feels like a good idea for me. I saw it on YouTube. So my point, we had a recent situation that occurred where seller and buyer ended up communicating directly. Now remember what I'm saying. Do not let the seller and the buyer communicate directly ever. I'm gonna say ever. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, again, you hire us to be the deal maker in between seller and buyer to get the seller what? All the money, get them as much as you possibly can. And to make a fair deal for the buyer so that the buyer gets everything they can. That's why they hire us in the first place. There was a situation where a big fuck up happened, and it was because of the fact the control was lost on the deal. Meaning, the seller wants to sell his property, but then a buyer who is a credible buyer comes to the table and decides the buyer wants to do a lease. Now, we are okay with always being creative on our transactions, meaning we can turn a sale deal into a lease deal when there's an opportunity to do that and when it makes sense. Meaning, if you have a sell property and it's a vacant deal and you have not sold the property yet and someone wants to buy it for income because they want a cash flow deal, well, obviously it's for sale, but you need to put some tenants in there. So now it's a sale property and it's for lease. And when we get the lease first on that property now, it turns from a vacant asset to a cash flowing, income producing commercial piece of real estate that has always been for sale. The goal of what it is that you're doing in our business is to achieve the highest and best offer and highest and best opportunity for both seller and buyer and yourself. Meaning, if you have the opportunity to sell a building for $2 million, the commission on that is what? Do the math. 6%, $120,000. Okay, how about a lease deal? Well, it depends on how big let's just call it $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month times 24 months, that's 24 grand. I'm sorry, $2,000 a month times 12 months is $24,000 in the year, right? So imagine if someone says instead of that $2 million deal that could be 120 grand for you, how does it sound to give you a 1-year lease to the tune of $2,000 a month, which is $24,000, and $24,000 times 6% commission? I believe that's right around $1,200 instead of $120,000. We're missing zeros. Never miss the zeros, meaning maximize the opportunity for the seller. If you were hired to sell the property, you must sell the property. Don't bring any weak offers that are to the table that the seller decides, oh, this sounds like a great idea. I think what I want to do is lease the property, and I want to put someone in there that doesn't have money, and I want to put someone in there that will give me $100,000 down, and I want to put someone in there that's just going to let me know what their price is in the future, and maybe they'll buy it from me, maybe. Unknown price on top of it. Horrible idea, and that happened recently. Okay, that's the seller side. Again, inexperience from the seller. He doesn't understand our business. He thinks you can just throw whatever together and see what happens. And in our business, it's not the way it works. So we were hired to sell the property. That's what we're going to do, is sell the property. We're going to maximize the opportunity for the seller. So always remember that. You lead the sale process. The only time we change that would be if, let's say, a buyer we're working with cannot cash them out in the form of a regular bank. Let's say it's $2 million and that buyer has 500 grand. We would then structure owner financing. We would structure a creative seller finance deal. So now the buyer comes in with the 500 grand. We still put a deal together. Seller gets his $2 million. He's happy. Buyer gets the property, and you make $120,000. Everybody wins. That's it. That's an highest and best opportunity that you've created, a three-way opportunity. It's got to make sense for the seller. It's got to make sense for the buyer, and it's got to make sense for you. This is your business. You're not here to put together some weak lease that doesn't make any sense for the seller. Legally, it's a liability and no money for you. You know, we're not just in this business for the money, okay? We're in this business to develop years and years of a relationship with the seller and the buyer that we work with that will then create more relationships and build your career in commercial real estate. That's what it is as to why we're doing what we're doing. Now, you should be rewarded with the maximum amount of money on every single deal. And so you have to do that structuring a deal so that you make the maximum amount. If you're doing a lease, you know that we don't do less than 3 to 5 year leases. Why? It's not in the best interest of the seller, and it's not in the best interest of you in the brokerage. You want to make money, and you want to make sure that you're focusing on giving the seller everything you possibly can in terms of money, and the same with the buyer. If the buyer needs a deal, structure that accordingly. So bottom line is that was a big lesson to be learned on a recent situation that took place between a seller that wanted to sell his property, hired us to sell his property, and then thought for some reason we were like regular residential groups that were just interested in, you know, small fees and didn't care about them. That was not the case. That seller, so to speak, we fired him, and we're not going to work with that seller, because at the same token, we're here to work with clients that want to work with us, appreciate the value we bring to them, and are professional in regards to listening and taking direction from us as commercial experts. Okay, so move forward with confidence when you're doing your deals. That's why people hire you, and that's why we can make more than any of the regular residential people out here, and then even some of the commercial agents. So if you're good at your business and you're the best at what you do, you can command the highest amount of money, and you're doing the best by the client. Okay. Inventory, we do have new inventory. I'm going to let Larry go over that with you so that you guys can go over it together. In particularly, we have the Castle building, which is 23,000 square feet. We're going to lease that coming up here at $19 a square foot gross. There is some flexibility on the pricing, and it can be split up to 2 10,000 square foot tenants or one 23,000 square foot tenant. It's set up where you have retail in the front, warehouse in the back, two dock high loading docks, and an extra parking lot for parking. So it's a great 2 tenant and possibly 3 tenant opportunity. But that's what we have available. We have some others available. I have a client that flew in from Connecticut recently, and we're working on something pretty awesome together. This is someone that has it's actually one of our mentors. He has a $700 million net worth, so he's almost a billionaire, and he's going to be allowing us to, his health is bad right now, so he's going to be liquidating his portfolio of property, and a lot of them I've already sold in this area, so we have the inside track to be able to have that opportunity come our ways. So I just want everybody to focus, be laser focused on this year, making it the best possible year for you. In terms of the world kind of political environment, things are changing pretty quickly. The Fed is going to reset rates, which is going to be a great win for our business, specifically on the retail and the investment grade commercial real estate. A lot of growth, a lot of opportunity. I want you guys to make this year the very best that you can. But what I mean by that more specifically is do what I was mentioning. When you have a vision in regards to what you want, you put down your plan and you take constant action. That's what's going to give you the success that you want. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. I am going to see you when I get back. I took a trip here, and it was something that I wanted to do for Zena. So I will be back after that. And for the time being, go ahead and sit with Larry. He's going to be going over questions and answers you have in regards to deals, just different mechanics that you guys will go together over. This is about a half-hour video, so it's long enough, but I did want to cover the key points, and hopefully you got some value out of this. Have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.